stop being lazy. Yeah. And I became creative. Yeah. And I learned how to create it. And now that pride's for me. So come see. Oh, come here.
Welcome back to the Silver Line and Atlanta Falcons podcast. I'm your host, Sterlington. This is your host, Cam. And we back at it again to talk about the Atlanta Falcons and some of their road ahead. But before we get into all that, how you doing today, Cam?
Doing pretty good. The week is almost over. It's the holiday season. I'm feeling the joy. I'm feeling the cheer. I'm also feeling a little tired. It's kind of late.
Yeah. So for
But
those who don't
aside,
know, we recorded way too late. I felt like we were both chilling. You know, I worked. I didn't get home until almost 8 o'clock. And then we just hit us that we hadn't recorded this week. So it's 10:47 right now, 10:47 p.m. on a Thursday, week before Christmas. And we tired, boss. But everything we do it all for you. So enjoy. What you saying, though, Cam?
man, I'm looking forward to the holiday season, man. Spending some time with the fam, eating some good food, watching some Falcon football.
I'm glad we don't play on Christmas, boy.
Boy, I'm trying to tell you, man. I'm trying to tell you. I don't need a lump of coal on Christmas.
Yeah, because I mean, you never know what you're gonna pull out with this team, boy. Speaking of lump of coal, Seattle just got back in it. I don't know if you saw Seattle had a punt return touchdown. That'll be good for our fantasy teams this week.
Did they really? Oh, snap. I love
Yep, Andrews got two, yeah. And I needed that because not that you all care about my fantasy football life, but I'm going against Kyron Williams. And I had Seattle's defense, and obviously Seattle gave up 30 points tonight, so that wasn't looking pretty. But then they scored a touchdown here on special teams. And I'm still loving it like it's McDonald's. All right, yeah, but enough of that. So we're at that part of the year, obviously, where the Falcons are 5-9, and we're trying to figure out what the team is going to look like in 2026. And I'd love to just pack it in and talk about the draft and talk about next year. And we're going to talk about a little about what the Falcons might do next year, but so much of the book has yet to be written. Because another funny thing about this game tonight is that we do play the other team, that team in blue and gold or blue and yellow or whatever their colors are tonight. And watching this game, it kind of pissed me off. And I'm so sorry to start off the silver line and possibly putting you in a bad mood. But sometimes you just, you're a fan, and you're a fan of your team all the time, no matter what games you're watching. And it's hard to watch this game and not be pissed off because you see the Rams with the number 1 seed. They got a first round pick coming from us, which I wouldn't trade back. But I'm just pointing out the overall scope of why our relationship with the Rams feels so one-sided, because they also got Nate Landman. And, when you talk about things we've gotten from the Rams, we got Raheem and
Zach Robinson.
I got the two worst coaches on this staff. And it's pretty annoying.
If you look at it like that, I completely agree. Like, they get Nate Landman, our first round draft pick, and we get Zach Robinson and Raheem Morris. Can we do it? Can we get a redo?
But speaking of which, though, you did get me thinking, because obviously, it's that, given the scope of things, we already looking to next year and seeing who might be possible coaching candidates. But before we go down the route of possible coaching candidates, I was thinking about the fact that, obviously you have to think about it, but last week in the game against the Bucks, Kirk looked pretty good, and honestly, the offense looked pretty good. Kyle Pitts looked pretty good. Well, he looked amazing, actually.
Oh my
phenomenally.
God, Kyle Pitts.
Um,
Oh, he pretty much took over the Drake role. Like he was getting all the targets.
exactly. That was the first time
Mhm.
he was to me. I look at it as the first time he was featured. You're right, not involved in the offense, but the game plan was, hey, Kyle is getting most of the first looks at the ball. You know what I'm saying? We calling plays for Kyle, and it looked really good. Um, but obviously we got an unenviable season, an unenviable, start to our season next year as far as things we got to consider with, Michael Penix Jr. possibly not starting the year. I don't know why people are already writing him off um, for starting next year, and I mostly say that because Patrick Mahomes just tore his ACL and LCL, I think,
He
and
did.
he talking about being back for the start of next season, and everybody kind of thinks that's going to happen. And they writing it off, and I'm like, well, Penix hurt his knee a lot earlier in the a lot earlier in the year. Well, not a lot earlier, but a few weeks earlier. Oh, quite a bit. Hold on now. What, like 4 games? Like a month?
Yeah.
Yeah, like a month earlier, and they writing him off, and I'm like, well, Penix could be ready by September next year. But the thing I'm getting at because I'm going on the preamble too long. Um, what if the offense looks like a pretty smoking good show for the next 3 games, with the Bucks game being included on top of that as the whole thing? How you think that's going to affect the coaching outlook?
I said it last week and I'll say it again this week. I think the only way Raheem keeps his job is if he wins out. Now, I think you mentioned losing the Rams game it might be acceptable. We won the next 2 out of 3. Like we beat the Cardinals and we beat the Saints. If we sweep the Saints, that might do it, especially if we beat the Cardinals and we lose a close game against the Rams. But in my opinion, this season was a failure. We didn't make the playoffs. We talked a lot of trash. We talked a lot of trash. We said we were going to do this. We said we are going to win the division. We are going to say our offense is going to put up 30 plus points a game. We said we were going to our offense was going to be the ones who dictated the tempo of this season, and it was the complete opposite. The complete opposite. And granted, we this team showed how we're kind of a glass cannon. When certain players went down, our entire team fell apart. And it didn't help that we had a young QB kind of going through the rookie blues at times. Now, granted, he was a second-year player, but Penix will be going into next year still having not played 17 games. Still having not played 17 games. Now, I'm hoping he'll be able to correct some of his like slight mechanic issues. And when I say like, I'm not going to like harp on him and act like I know about QB play, but I do know what I see, and I see a guy who has great arm strength, but at times his bad footwork leads to him missing some throws.
Yeah,
Like there was some gameplay out there where he was missing open guys.
yeah, it was.
He was, hey, the jury's not out on him, and I believe these are fixable things. I think these are things that can be worked on.
I get a
So
little nervous by his feet. How he kind of gets a little happy with the ball when he sees pressure. There's sometimes where I think he's too quick to dirt that ball to avoid pressure without thinking about where he needs to throw the ball to. So I'm a little concerned about that, especially given
yep,
recent
and you
injuries.
notice it because he consistently would throw outside. You notice that he's very safe with the ball. He tries to be. So, but there are some things he's gonna have to clean up, and I was hoping he'd have a full off season where he's healthy and he can really
Yeah,
dive into that. But him tearing his ACL is gonna kind of put a hamper on that. So then we go into the off season, and now we got Kurt, and right now he's playing well, but I still need to see more. Like if we went out, if we somehow find a way to win these next 3 games, yeah, I might feel a little confident. I might be like, you know what? We've said it before, and I'll say it again. The worst place you can be as a franchise is QB purgatory. Now, I don't want Kirk for this price. I think it's like a $60 million cap hit, and our
just
and our
about. Yeah,
roster, our roster has way too many holes for that. And on top of that, we do not have our first round draft pick. No, we need to. We this year we need depth, And I know we've had a depth draft before, like 2021 was a depth draft, and only one guy on that team is still only one guy on that draft is still on that team, and that's Kyle Pitts. He might not be here next year. He auditioning for next year. We got question marks. Is Jesse Bates gonna be here next year? I have no idea.
I think Jesse is on his third year. He got a 4-year deal.
Okay, but I'm
Caden
just
Ellis though.
Hayden Ellis. I'm just saying, like I'm like, dog, David on your mind. We got holes that need to be
Tyler
filled.
Algier is probably gonna be going
Tyler
too.
Algier gonna be going. I'm like, dog, we
And
can have an
apparently we missed
entirely
on Jace
different roster.
McClellan.
We wasting a lot of our firepower, our like some of our big explosive pieces, and I'm just like, wow, I don't know. We have so many questions, and I don't want QB to be one of them, but inevitably so. QB is going to be a big question for us, man. Like, do we just blow it all up? Like that's
Look, that's the fear about all of this, and that's kind of why I wanted to pose the question about if we see Kirk Cousins, and the reason I said the offense is because I didn't mean just Kirk Cousins. I mean you see strokes from Zach showing that he strides from Zach showing that he would be having a lot of improvement, but then it's still a murky proposition because it's like Zach looked good, but with Kirk Cousins and like what's gonna be the plan for next year? Like, can you bring Kirk back for another year? You know what I'm saying?
and you know he's not going to take a pay cut.
No, I mean, why would he?
You
Why
know
would
he's not going to take
he?
a
I
pay cut. He
mean,
gonna want the full 60, and I'm like, dog, the way our roster set up, you gonna have to be superhero. You gonna have to carry all the weight.
well, he's not getting paid the full 60. This is cap hit. This is when the money that we have paid him hits the books. So effectively, it's the same thing. But I mean, he's not making 60 in 1 year. So I guess that feels better. You don't have to say the sentence, "We are paying Kirk Cousins 60 million in 1 year." I'm like, damn, we backloaded his contract like that so that backloaded the cap hit to his contract. So we could get out, and now it's like we are in no man's land. And you know what's funny? While you were talking, I was wondering if maybe the right decision for how to handle QB last year should have been a competition. Well, this season should have been an open competition between Michael Penix and Kirk Cousins.
It always should have been, man. I
Um,
know he lost his job, but he lost his job due to injury.
Kinda, yeah.
And I think I think it should have been a competition. Granted, I get Raheem's thinking you got a young guy, you want to put all that confidence in him, you want to build him up.
Yeah. You
So I
don't
don't necessarily fault the move, but in hindsight, it should have been a competition. Dang, what just happened?
a review. They just reviewed that it was that incomplete pass wasn't a pass. Um and that it was a fumble and Seattle recovered it for 2.
Oh, how they scored the touchdown?
I think that might have been a bad call. What the fuck? I don't know.
I don't even
They
know
scored a
how
touchdown on a rollout play from Sam Darnold to a tight end.
there's 6 minutes left in this game. What just happened, dog? We started
We
recording.
started recording and the game started going crazy. Yeah, that's what happened. And it was funny. We were just talking about how this game might be over, but then I said, well, I know one team that scored 15 unanswered points in the fourth quarter of a Thursday night game against a division rival last week.
Hey. Back to back Thursday night barn burners. I love it, baby.
Yeah.
I love it.
Got to give you some entertainment on Thursday night. So yeah, I've been kind of miffed on what the Falcons' next move should be, but I do think maybe we need to just really consider what's available at QB. I know a lot of people have been pining for Clint Kubiak, for the offensive coordinator for the Seahawks. But my fear is we move on from Sam Darnold, and our situation stops us from getting the kind of coach. I mean,
You mean Kurt?
we move on from Raheem Morris,
Oh, Raheem. Okay.
and our situation stops us from getting a coach that wants to take this job. I feel like some coaches definitely looked at Atlanta and was like, no, I don't want
And you know
you.
what? Pre Raheem hiring, I feel like we were an interesting destination. I feel like we were a very attractive destination. We had like a lot of potential pieces. We just didn't have the guy. We just didn't have the trigger man. And
Yeah.
now we're kind of in a position where we kind of got two trigger men. Do we keep one of them for the cap hit of 60 M's? And then with Penix, you're just praying he develops. It's more of a hope. And I don't, you can't base your franchise off hope like that. You kind of need a little bit something, you kind of need a little bit more. Man, I don't know. Because I believe in maintaining the faith with him. He is a quarterback that's a first round quarterback. So I think no matter what, he will be on this team next year. That's not the question about Michael Penix. Next year, I mean, we could trade him, but in my opinion, we shouldn't. No matter what, I think he'll be on this team next year. It's just, will he be starting, or do we get a journeyman? Do we keep Kirk?
Get a bridge. Yeah, so
I
I
don't
think
know, man.
I'm glad you brought that up because I was just thinking this might be another one of the reasons why somebody, heads might have to roll. Somebody got to get fired because that's one of those things you look at and you say, "Damn, did we build the team backwards? Did we build the team and you spend all of these draft picks on all of these skill position players and get this offense together and then, try to figure out quarterback last and maybe we should have figured out quarterback first?"
Oh, I always
Because
believe that. I always believe that, but it was more of this thing where like
I mean that's
our
clearly
pieces,
got Arthur Smith fired.
our pieces were hitting, so I wasn't really complaining. Like Drake's a hit, Bijan's a hit, Tyler Allgeier's a hit, Pitts can be a hit. He has shown he can be a hit when he's featured, but a lot of times, like he had his one good year as rookie with Matt Ryan. Next year he gets hurt with Mariota. The next year he has Desmond Ritter. Then this year it's just like it's not bad, but it could be better.
And
It
then it
could
was
be
last
better.
year too. I think last year kind of
And
probably
last year
did
too. So I mean, like,
the most damage. That was the
I
first
mean,
time me feeling a good
if we
quarterback team.
keeping it a buck, we kind of did build the team backwards. We should have invested more heavily into the trenches, more heavily into our secondary. I mean, and we're doing it on the back end because this past draft was good, and the year before that was pretty solid too. But we got more questions than answers coming, and like having quarterback on top of that, and then we also might have coaching. What if we lose out? Then we're gonna have the GM. We're gonna have the head coach, OC, DC. We might mess around and just burn it all down and have to rebuild.
Psst. Hey Cam, you seeing this shit?
Oh yeah, I think I am. What is that?
That's a person watching this podcast that hasn't subscribed. Subscribe. The button's down below. Like, bro, even worse, man. We might have to take a bumper year of trash to rebuild. You know what I'm saying? You take that bumper year of trash, you can clear some cap, you can get some picks. Ideally, you can put together a situation where a coach just can't wait to come in. But even then, I think about a guy like Ben Johnson. He had his choices of places to go the year we hired Raheem. And you know what happened? He looked at the places and said, "No, I will be going back to Detroit." And then he went the year after when he's like, "Well, damn, got a team that got a young quarterback, bunch of cap space, bunch of picks. Yeah, I'm gonna march right in there. That's what I want to. What situation I want? Because coaching spots are limited. There's only 32 of those jobs in the world. This ain't, anytime you think the job market's hard, at least there's something out there. You just gotta punch your ticket. You gotta get, you gotta get a little lucky. But if your resume is good, you're there. But with these jobs, there's only 32, and you only gonna get so many chances. Somehow,
True.
even I really wasn't the most against it. Obviously hindsight being 2020, it's like, damn, Raheem managed to nab two of those chances. And not to bring up old stuff, but like You gonna hire two first-time coordinators for your second chance at head coach?
Mm-hmm.
Like this it for him.
That was inexcusable for me, bro. That two first-time coordinators at your second stint as a black man, it might be your last stint. Come on now, like you would think that you would make a better decision than that. Now, granted, we gonna see how these last 3 games play out because, in my opinion, he has no choice. He has to win all 3 for me to say bring him back.
I ain't gonna lie,
But
I'm
even
ready to get
still, though,
out.
I'm like, dog.
I feel like this is one of them situations where you take your medicine early, you take your medicine late, but you're gonna get this medicine.
Okay.
You're gonna get this medicine. All right. And if you get it late, it's gonna be a lot worse.
Yeah, but I want to make sure we take the right medicine, man.
Yeah,
I don't want us
man,
to.
but
I don't want us to hire the wrong coach.
all right, you
Oh
know what I'm thinking
man.
about? Because you're not wrong. Because see what happens is Arthur Blank is typically very committed to his coaches to a certain degree, right? Maybe you get two back-to-back winning seasons, I mean losing seasons and you out, but you're gonna get those 2 seasons. And what's gonna happen is you're gonna hire a coach that's a okay hire, and then the next year a bunch of good coaching candidates going to be available, but you can't go and join the coaching search because you just hired a coach last year. Now, sometimes, if you a coach and you just say, "Nah, I ain't really like what I," if you the owner, you just like, "Nah, I ain't really like what I see," and rather than risk another year of that, I'd rather just go ahead and fire him now and see if we can do better. Then you can do that. But I don't think that's what Blank's gonna do, and that's ultimately what one of those things that's gonna keeping us in the cycle of BS, right? That we're gonna hang on to guys that might be showing bad signs of being a good coach, and then keep missing out on coaches during the cycles where they're available, and while we're an attractive destination.
Mm-hmm.
You know what I'm saying? Because we possibly could have been an attractive destination if we would have fired Dan Quinn after the second bad year. But we held on to him, wanted to give a coach that got you a Super Bowl a third season, give him an extra chance. And then he started out 0-5 and he got fired, and him and Thomas Dimitrov then maxed out the cap and used all the draft picks and traded back into the first round. So now we had Chris Lindstrom and Caleb McGarry. And then when it's time to hire a coach next year, when you ultimately ended up firing him anyway, you have to settle on Arthur Smith, and you got to give Arthur Smith 3 years because they had a year of BS they had to get off the cap.
Mm-hmm.
Because it was a year, it was like whoever took the job had to basically just get a year for free because, well, you walking into a bad situation. We have to give you that grace to get you to come here. You know what I'm saying? And so and then it just continues that cycle on and on. And this could be a time where we start to try to break that cycle, where we say, we won't take another minute at Raheem. We're going to go aggressively after the best coach that we see available. We're going to let him get whatever he wants. And if that's what it takes to get him, we're going to do whatever it takes to get the coach that we want. The one with the one who we think can, one, help develop your quarterback, whoever that quarterback ends up being, right? Coach that can manage the clock, right? A coach not afraid to make tough decisions. All right. A coach that can put together an all-star staff. These are all things that every coach we've had has been able to do some of, but none of the coaches we have been able to do all of these in recent history. Right? So if we're gonna turn this thing around, that's what it's gonna take. It's gonna take Arthur Blank, not necessarily being like a terrorist. Like, you don't want him to be known as the owner who always firing coaches after 1 year. But you also got to be an owner that's not scared to get their guy.
Mm-hmm.
We all laughed at David Tepper in Carolina, but He fired Frank Reich. I don't even think a year in, a full year, and he was like, "Oh yeah, this ain't working. Get him up out of here." And then they hired Dave Canales.
And it's working.
They are showing signs of progress. I noticed that everybody's saying Bryce sucks when the passing game doesn't do well. They don't say Dave Canales sucks. All right, because Dave Canales helping get the team to 7-7, a team that has been destitute for at least as long as we have.
They've been destitute since their Super Bowl loss.
And if they make the playoffs, we will now stand alone in the room of longest playoff droughts, most consecutive seasons without a winning record.
Mm-hmm.
Now, granted, that's likely to happen if you look at Carolina's schedule. They got a whale of a schedule to end their season. But because they get Tampa twice, and I think they get Seattle.
I think so.
And who do they have this season? No, they got Tampa this week, but I feel like I'm missing somebody. Who else do they play?
I don't know their schedule like that.
I don't either.
If they got Tampa twice and they got one game left after that, so it got to be maybe Seattle. Have they played Seattle this year? I don't think so.
No. They got to play Seattle. I know they got to play Seattle.
They
They have to play the 49ers?
How many games do they have left? 4?
They got to have 4.
We only got 3 games left. They should only have.
No, we got 4. We got the Cardinals this week. Then we got the Rams. Then we got
The Saints.
the Saints.
Hold on.
Oh yeah, 3 games left. Yeah, what was I saying? 14 games. Sorry, that's me. So yeah, they get the Bucks, Seahawks, Bucks.
Mm-hmm.
So they could quite easily lose at least 2 of those games, miss the playoffs, and end up with a losing record.
It's
But
possible.
you know what? That 8-9 would feel better than any version of 8-9 we've had or 7-10 we've had over the last few years. At least last year, we made it to the last game of the year before we missed the playoffs. Like, to be eliminated 13 games in kind of sucks.
I agree. And what sucks is, like, if we went out, we'll be 8-9 and have the same. We could mess around, have the same record as the division winner as a division winner. We can 8-9 might be just enough, and we won't get it because we lost to Carolina twice.
That would be
Could
the
you
biggest
imagine?
piece of fool's gold if we messed around and kept Raheem, because we are the top 3 teams all 8-9, but we lose because of tiebreakers. Because that means that if we're like imagine a world where Carolina, Tampa Bay, and Atlanta all finish 8-9. Imagine how easy it is for the owner then to talk himself into keeping Raheem. You're not gonna look at the fact that 8-9 is a losing record. You're gonna look at the fact that, hey, we tied with the division leaders. Might as well keep him. We just can't take the cheese. I ain't gonna lie. I think I'm out. I think I'm firmly out. I think I don't care what I see.
Fair enough, man. Fair enough. That's why I said winning out's the only way for me. Like, you can't do 2 out of 3. This Rams team is competing for a Super Bowl. So if you could beat them, if you can win these last 3 games, win these last 4 games, then yeah, I'm game.
But let me ask: do they need to do it, or do they need to look real good doing it?
We got to look good.
I ain't gonna lie.
We got to look good. Last week we looked terrible. If we play and we have that many penalties again and win, I'm like, you just like this team is poorly coached because we lack discipline.
So what if we win the last 3 games by 20 points apiece?
If we beat the Rams somehow by 20 points and then finish the season off by beating the Saints by 20 points, I'm like,
you get the parade.
I'm like, bro, like this Rams team can score 30 on anybody. So if we beat them by 20 points,
either we locked them up or our offense went completely crazy.
Or probably a little bit of both.
Yeah.
Because special teams ain't doing it.
Yeah. Man, get Raheem out of here,
That's what I'm saying, dog.
Oh, man. Yeah, he blew it on coaching hires. He blew it. And he's a CEO. Get this guy out of here.
He's a CEO coach hiring bad
Bad
managers, dude.
C staff.
Bad staff, dude. Terrible staff.
Damn. Oh man. Yeah.
And that
Yeah.
was my biggest thing. I'm like, if you're gonna be a CEO coach, your staff got to be A1. And this staff was terrible. Terrible. And you know what? We always gonna give you the benefit of the doubt. Jimmy, like I was out from here. I was out after the first couple games. I was like, I'm out on him. And then Zach, our offense kind of found this little flow at one point. Then Kurt get hurt, and it's just the whole. I'm with you. I'm tired of the whole rigmarole.
Yeah.
At this point, we kind of just got to take the medicine and just rip the Band-Aid off and just really heal this team. Really heal.
Try to just hang on to your core pieces. All right. Figure out if Kyle gonna be one of your core pieces. You can franchise him. You know what I'm saying? You can re-sign Bijan and re-sign Drake. And because Penix is gonna be in his third year. Oof. I thank God he's going into his third year because if it was any later, boy, now you got a decision about a fifth year option on a quarterback that you ain't sure about. God, I hope Penix don't get hurt again next year. Not to look that far ahead or to jinx it, but
if he have one more big injury like that within this
time to
first
abandon
contract,
ship. Time to abandon ship.
yeah, within his first contract, if he, yeah,
if it works out, it works out. We'll put him somewhere, but that just wouldn't be a proper bet. I mean, unless he was out there just looking like a machine for the games that he was there.
Oh, like if he was looking like an MVP,
Yeah,
and then he just got hurt, then I'm like, all right, never mind. Let's
yeah.
try again. But if his play just doesn't improve and he get hurt again, then yeah, it might be time. But we are not there yet. The script isn't written. I'm not gonna write him off. I'm very optimistic, but right now, our future, man.
It's just it's
A big
cloudy.
question mark. A bit cloudy. Very cloudy.
Like, boy, cloudy with a chance of pain.
A high chance. Oh my God. Cloudy. Severe thunderstorms are on the horizon.
But, we'll see though. Look, the main thing about the reason why it matters so much about hitting on the coach is because you just can never forget that 2007 season and how bleak things looked, and then how we turn that thing around. Sometimes you need the right coach with the right culture building and the right ability to put together a staff, and they can come in and in one season turn your outlook on the whole team around.
Mm-hmm. It can, bro. It's any given Sunday, dog. You just gotta get people to execute.
Yep. Well, I'm gonna go ahead and watch the rest of this game. Look forward to the Falcons game. We playing the Cardinals. We got Jacoby coming through. I don't know who the hell the running back is gonna be. Probably Michael Carter and Amari DiMercado, because I think Bam Knight's gonna be missing this game.
We got the 405 window too.
Oh God,
I know.
it's fine. You know what? I'm on PTO all next week. It'll be all right. It'll be all right. So, we going to Arizona, right?
Correct.
All right. Well, look, Arizona hadn't been winning anything. They just been showing up. Not that we've been winning a bunch, but
this game could go either. Honestly, if I'm keeping it a buck, I wouldn't be surprised if we fucked around and lost this game and then somehow magically beat the Rams.
You know what? That would be fantastic because it would give me the satisfaction of seeing the Falcons beat a high-level playoff team and the security of knowing that we probably in for some changes.
Yeah, and then
I feel like that would be the perfect level of inconsistency to show that you just don't have the right guy for the job. Like, how you gonna drop a game against the Cardinals and then beat the Rams? I'm like, oh, okay. You'll always be fooling me if I keep taking this cheese.
Yeah, we got 3 games left. If we really want to change, ideally, we probably We probably need these guys to lose all three of them, but we fans, so we want them to win.
Yeah,
as soon
yeah.
as soon as Sunday hits, as soon as game time shows up,
Oh
I want
yeah.
them to win.
I don't want to deal with that. I don't want to deal with being disappointed by my favorite football team again. I'm tired of that. We've been doing that for the last 8 years. I'm good. I'm ready to watch these boys start winning. All right, and
Same,
if I gotta watch
same.
them win games at the end of the day, you know what else? Hey, it don't matter. We don't have a first round draft pick, and honestly, um, like we outlined before, unless it looked like a buzzsaw, I don't see how Raheem keeping the job. So, that's that. But what's your score prediction?
Man, we had 19 penalties last week. Uh, uh Drake may come back, which will look good. We'll see. I feel like the offense is kind of finding is a little bit of form, a little bit of rhythm.
Yeah,
I think it's gonna be a shootout, and I think it's gonna be a close game because the Falcons we ain't gonna blow nobody out. I think it'll be.
no, no,
I think it'll mess around and be 31-28 Falcons.
31-28. Okay, I can see the division there. Um, I was gonna say 27-21 Falcons.
Okay,
Um,
I can dig it. I can dig it.
yeah. I feel like if we put a 29 against Tampa on the road, but I mean that's a familiar opponent that
But Baker's is a
Kirk just can't. Kirk can't not throw a masterpiece against the Bucks. He's tried. He just can't do it. He just can't do it. They slapped the ball out of his hand. He just couldn't do. He just couldn't lose the ball. Remember, even in the game, the home game against them last year, the 500-yard game, he threw a pick late in that game. It was on the fourth down. So honestly, it's safe field position.
He
But
still threw
he
one.
threw a
He still
late
threw
fourth
one.
quarter. He just couldn't help himself. He was like, "Hey man, I just see bucks and I get a ghost in my arm that make me throw darts." You know what I'm saying? Throw darts. But um, yeah. I think 27-21. I think we're gonna look good on offense. I don't think we're gonna look great. This unfamiliar opponent. It's not gonna look as good as last week. And honestly, last week didn't necessarily look that great. It looked good, but it took a whole nother step up in that tail end of that fourth quarter. Um, but yeah, I think that's what I'm going with.
Okay, I dig it, my man. I dig it.
All right. Well, you should see us next week. Hopefully. We'll see. It's Christmas and got to figure out that schedule to record. Maybe we'll do an early week episode or something. But if you don't, Merry Christmas. Can hope you get everything you want for Christmas. Cam, anything you want to say before you get out of here?
It's been a pleasure, man. I look forward to bringing in the new year with you guys.
All righty. Well, you guys know what the deal by now. We're over at DHGLiner91 on X.com. Please give us a tweet. And we about to get out of here. You all know the drill by now. Please like, subscribe, share, comment, whatever. Hit the little bell. We want to hear some real niggas uploading. Peace. Peace. Merry Christmas.